Welcome to Soul Light Channel. As my vision blurred and my strength faded, I felt the world around me slipping away. The temple's sounds grew faint, and I knew something was terribly wrong. My heart raced, pounding in my chest, and then suddenly, everything went black. I didn't expect to experience anything after losing consciousness, but to my shock, I found myself floating above my own body. It was a strange and eerie feeling. I could see myself lying on the floor, motionless. Everything looked the same, yet it felt completely different. I could see every detail: sweat on my forehead, my chest rising and falling slowly, the faint pulse in my neck. But there was no fear or pain. I felt detached, almost as if I was a stranger to my own body. As I floated there, the world around me began to grow darker. I felt myself moving further into the darkness, and with every moment, it grew thicker and colder. A terrible sense of despair washed over me. I tried to hold on to the teachings I had followed all my life, hoping they would offer comfort. But they seemed distant and powerless in this strange place. Then, a horrifying realization hit me. I was being taken to hell. Dark, shadowy figures surrounded me, guiding me through the darkness. They didn't need to say anything. Their presence alone made it clear where we were headed. These figures were leading me to a place of torment and suffering. They didn't speak, but their purpose was obvious: to guide lost souls into hell. When we arrived, they left me alone, but the overwhelming darkness of hell remained. Suddenly, out of the shadows, he appeared. Satan. He wasn't like the images I had imagined in my mind. There were no horns or fiery eyes, but his presence was more terrifying than any monster I could have imagined. His very essence was pure evil. The darkness around him was so deep, it seemed to swallow all light and hope. His gaze was cold and empty, without an ounce of compassion. He radiated power and control, leaving no room for resistance. I was frozen in fear, and as I looked around, I noticed other demons surrounding us. They were hideous, grotesque creatures. But what struck me the most was how they all bowed to Satan. These demons, who were agents of torment, showed complete loyalty to him, groveling at his feet, eager to do his will. Satan was unaffected by the suffering around him. He ruled over this dark realm with absolute authority. The demons worshipped him, not out of fear, but out of a twisted reverence for his power and cruelty. It was clear that in this place, Satan was the supreme ruler, and evil reigned supreme. But despite his immense power, I noticed something strange. Satan was bound by thick, unyielding chains. These chains glowed with dark energy and were clearly forged by a higher power, something far greater than anything in this realm. Even though Satan ruled over hell, the chains showed that he was restrained, bound by a force he couldn't defy. Yet, despite his chains, he still commanded the demons with ease, controlling them with just a glance or a gesture. They carried out his orders with ruthless efficiency, tormenting the souls of the damned without hesitation. In hell, the hierarchy was clear. The demons were mere pawns, tools of Satan's malevolent plans, while he remained the supreme ruler. His chains were a reminder of his own subjugation, but they didn't lessen his control over this infernal domain. As I stood there, trembling with fear, Satan's cold eyes fixed on me. Without speaking, he signaled to the demons, who began to taunt me. One of them sneered, "So, this is the faithful Buddhist. All those years spent in meditation and seeking enlightenment, what a waste. You pursued wisdom, but look where it brought you. All your devotion and rituals were for nothing." The demons mocked me, taking pleasure in making me feel worthless. My lifelong search for spiritual growth had led me to this place of torment. The demons wasted no time, unleashing pain beyond anything I could have ever imagined. Every moment was agony. The physical pain was unbearable, but what hurt even more was the realization that everything I had done, everything I had believed in, had led me to this place of suffering. My devotion, my rituals, my practices, they had all been for nothing. The demons delighted in my suffering, finding joy in the fact that my pursuit of enlightenment had brought me to this hellish fate. As the torment continued, Satan's presence grew even more oppressive. With cruel satisfaction, he began to speak directly to me. He told me that many souls are easily misled, and more than ever, people are flocking to hell. They blindly follow each other into its depths, unaware of the consequences of their choices. Satan revealed that it's not just the lost or wicked who are at risk. Even those who think they are righteous are in danger. They are blinded by their own pride, ignorance, and trust in false paths. Satan spoke about how the business world is a perfect tool for deception, corruption, and greed. People think they are just bending the rules or making deals, but in reality, they are securing their own damnation. Satan also talked about the entertainment industry, explaining how it has become a playground for their influence. Through music, movies, and games, they lure people away from faith and truth. People become consumed by worldly pleasures and distractions, gradually abandoning their beliefs until they belong to him. Even churches are not safe. Satan revealed that false pastors and teachers have infiltrated churches, spreading twisted versions of the truth. These leaders preach about prosperity and happiness, but hide the true cost. They mislead people, making them comfortable and unprepared for what's to come. He also mentioned Buddhism, saying that it has become popular among those seeking peace. But instead of finding truth, people encounter emptiness and meaningless rituals. Buddhism, like many false religions, is just a way to lead souls away from salvation. Their goal is to pull people away from God and into hell. They patiently deceive people until it's too late for them to be saved. In the midst of my suffering, a powerful force surged through me, pulling me away from the torment of hell. The demons were stopped, and I was drawn upward. I found myself back in my own body, in a hospital, overwhelmed by the shock of returning to the physical world. The memory of hell was still fresh in my mind. After this experience, I made the decision to leave Buddhism and embrace Christianity. This change was a total shift in my spiritual life. I sought forgiveness through Christ, and my new faith became the center of my existence. Despite facing doubts and persecution, I remained true to my new belief. My experience showed me the truth about salvation through faith in Jesus. I urge all believers to stay strong in their faith, for the devil uses many tools to lead people astray through business, entertainment, and even within the church. The path to salvation is narrow, and we must remain vigilant in our faith.